Hello humans of the world, if you're listening to this, I want to inform you that the following information can be interpreted in whatever way you'd like. In other words, you may agree or disagree with some of the opinions shared in this video. However, I would still like to thank each one of you for having the spiritual energy to think outside of what society engraves upon us. In this video specifically, I'm going to speak about the 5G towers and the purpose I believe they will serve upon citizens. I will also be speaking about secret societies of the government. During this process, I'm going to introduce you to multiple conspiracies that all work simultaneously with one another to serve the purpose set upon by the deep state. What is the deep state? The deep state, or as some may know as the fourth branch of the government, is defined by Google as a body of people, typically influential members of government agencies or the military, believed to be involved in the secret manipulation or control of government policy. In my opinion, the deep state is a society of members who remain invisible and are invincible that control the world. This same society can also be referred to as the Illuminati, which is defined by Google as people claiming to possess special enlightenment or knowledge. Trump has proved to us that the deep state, or the Illuminati, is an actual organization, and the deep state is doing everything in its power to stop him. First, what makes Trump a different president is his use of social media to communicate with the public audience. For example, Trump was given a lot of criticism for using Twitter as a method to communicate with us regular people. The deep state was absolutely furious with Trump doing this, and they tried to enact the Communications over Various Feeds Electronically for Engagement Act. This rule will basically prevent the president in using social media to send messages that are outside what the deep state once said. Do you remember when Trump tweeted the following? Despite the constant negative press, Kofifi, the news, which is controlled by the deep state and is called public programming for a reason, made people who hate Trump think he misspelled the word coverage. Trump received a lot of bullying by members of society for misspelling the word coverage. But what is the abbreviation of the Communications over Various Feeds Electronically for Engagement Act? The answer is Kofifi, and do you think it's a coincidence that Trump misspelled the word coverage? Also, let's not forget how Trump misspelled the word hamburgers, and of course the media made you make fun of him. However, conspiracy theorists believe that hamburgers was a threat to the Clintons and their involvement with one of the most sophisticated human trafficking organizations ran by Jeffrey Epstein. If you don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is, I apologize, but that is another entire video that basically explains how Jeffrey Epstein, a well-known public figure, was operating one of the biggest sex trafficking schemes and had very close relationships with political figures such as the Clintons, sex offender and TV actor Kevin Spacey, Prince Andrew, and even Donald Trump. Shortly after his prosecution, Jeffrey Epstein was found hanged in his jail cell, and no one will ever know the information he was planning to expose. Anyways, what does this have to do with the misspelled hamburgers tweet? Well, to many of us, the word birders is defined as a thing or person who is on the level below the devil and commits acts that the devil would consider evil. Keep in mind that Trump tweeted this as a direct message to the Clintons, saying that the evil will soon be exposed. A month later, Epstein was found hanged in his jail cell, and Trump retweeted a theory from someone else that basically states the Clintons killed Epstein to avoid him exposing the deep state members. If you're still not convinced that Trump is exposing the deep state, let's remember the time where Dr. Fauci laughed at Trump on live TV, and the media made a good majority of people believe that Dr. Fauci was laughing at Trump's incompetence. Well, let's remember exactly what Trump said that made Dr. Fauci laugh. The US president told reporters that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has to return to the State Department, before adding, or as they call it, the Deep State Department. Is that really a laughable matter towards our president, or is Dr. Fauci laughing because of the courage the president has?
Secretary of State Pompeo is extremely busy, so if you have any question for him right now, could you do that? Because you know what I'd like to do? I'd like him to go back to the State Department, or as they call it, the Deep State Department. You don't mind? I'd like to have him go back and do his job. So does anybody have any question? Please.
Mr. Secretary.
Talk about the deep state for hours, but if this video gets enough attention, we will definitely make another explaining how the deep state is involved in religion, politics, music, movies, drugs, human trafficking, and the military. Us normal people have no idea who is in this society, or if this society is even ran by humans. You may be asking yourself, what does all this have to do with the 5G towers? And I'm sorry for taking long, but I needed to explain what the deep state is and how they control society. In China, free speech is not as respected like in America, and Chinese citizens are not allowed to express their thoughts and are basically puppets to its government. Stating that China currently has a population of about 1.2 billion people, and China's government has over 50 million advanced camera systems that are capable of facial recognition on citizens. The camera systems in China are so advanced that it can recognize the faces of its citizens from almost everywhere in their land. With such an advanced security system, it definitely assists in lowering crime, but it also takes away a substantial amount of power from the people. Compared to China, America currently has an estimate of 320 million residents, which is about 4 times smaller than China's 1.2 billion. America currently has a total of 50 million cameras across the United States, but it's not as sophisticated as China's. America is going to utilize the 5G towers to develop a tracking system that will be more advanced than that of China's. Do you remember how fingerprint unlocking was introduced to phones and how facial recognition was introduced as a way to unlock your phone as well? Owners of companies like Facebook, Google and Android, I believe, are part of the deep state, or are manipulated by the deep state. In result, they sold all the fingerprints and faces gathered in order for them to prepare for the tracking system they want to implement amongst humans. I don't believe the 5G towers are going to cause sickness, but they are going to power the tracking system that the American government wants to impose. Remember how I talked about the deep state earlier and how evil their intentions are? Well, technology and whistleblowers are exposing their wicked plan, and having such a tracking system will allow the deep state to keep its power against its people, very similar to that of China's. I strongly believe that having such a tracking system against humans is worse than taking away their guns. Tracking humans in such a way is allowing them to have control of us and influence our decisions as a society. This is going to take away a good amount of our freedom and is always going to give the power to the government. Now that I introduced you to the deep state, do you believe it's appropriate for them to have such dominance of regular people? I strongly believe that the towers are going to assist them in developing this one IC's all-human tracking system and will allow them to stay in control. Please share, like and comment your opinions and whether we should make another video.